Hey, hi. A warm welcome to one and all. My name is Nagabaran. I'm a senior functional nutritionist with Wilson's community. Okay. Today we're going to talk about one important topic in this level one program. Okay. That is a healthy skeletal system. Okay. Before kickstarting it, I would say that please grab a pen as well as notepad and start making note of each and every point what we are discussing here. Okay. If you have any clarifications or questions, speak to your coach immediately after this session. All right. And you don't limit yourself to make notes. You wanted to practice it again and again so that you would be very, very fluent. Okay, while you're talking. So the agenda is going to be five things. One is healthy bones. What nutrition is needed for the healthy bones? One is a Calmag D, and second one is vitamin D. Okay. Third one is healthy joints. When I say healthy joints, what are needed for the healthy joints? Glucose HCL. Okay. These things we are going to talk about. Okay. Before starting, let's understand what is a skeletal system. Okay. Before understanding system, what is a system in our body? Okay. So system is nothing but like a group of organs, okay, which are collectively working for meeting a purpose. Okay, let's say that we may have heard so many times like circulatory system, okay, or a reproductive system, nervous system. Like there are multiple nervous systems, right? Central nervous system or PNS, peripheral nervous system. Okay, let's take an example of digestive system. When I say digestive system, it's collection of multiple organs in our human body, right? One is mouth, that is buccal cavity. After that, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, rectum, anus. The same way, when it comes to skeletal system, it is nothing but a group of bones or a collection of bones, okay, which is actually supporting our body. Okay. Now, you may be thinking that how many bones are there in our body? Don't start counting it. I will tell you. Okay. So there are total 206 bones in our body, approximately. And when you were born and when you were infant, not only you, even me, when we were infant, it is actually 300. Like slowly what happened when we are growing older, the small bones have infused together and became larger bones. So that's how 300 has become 206. Out of this 206 bones, okay, half of the bones, like 103 bones, are present in our hands and legs, right? And what is the importance of the skeletal system? I'll tell you. Before talking about the importance, what are these bones? Like 206 bones, where are they? Okay, let's see. So, one is a skull, which is very important, right? Technically, it is called as a cranium. When I say cranium, it actually safeguards our brain. Okay, when you fall down, okay, when you bump off to something, okay, when you knock down to something, okay, so it protects the brain. So mandible, this is another bone, and the rib cage, which actually protects our key organs like a heart, respiratory system, like lungs, okay. And today I'm talking to you like with a proper posture, right? How I'm able to do it with like spinal cord. Okay, spinal cord is nothing but it's a collection of 33 bones, which each bone is called as vertebrae. Okay, like this is called as cervical. So many times we will be hearing from clients that I have neck pain. Neck pain is nothing but cervical pain. Okay, thoracic is a little lower. Little lower is lumbar. After that, sacrum and coccyx. Coccyx is nothing but tailbone. Okay, you would be hearing many times these problems. I have lower back pain. I have neck pain. From software engineers or the people who are doing desk jobs. Okay, so we wanted to understand that why it happens, right? Next, the other bones, like after rib cage, the other bones are like legs and hands. I told in the legs there are two major bones. One is called as thigh bone, which is also called as femur bone. Okay, and the lower bone is called as a tibia. These two bones are actually weight-bearing bones. When I say weight bearing bones, when you stand, all the weight is actually holded by who? This thigh bone as well as tibia bone. Okay. So what is the importance of all these bones? Okay. One is these bones or skeletal system gives proper shape to your body, proper posture to your body. Second one is, as just before I told, that it is going to safeguard your key organs. Like cranium is actually safeguarding your brain, and rib cage is actually safeguarding your heart and the lungs. Okay, that's all. And as I said, that the bones also supports by taking the load of your body. Okay, now let's understand that what actually there in bone. Okay, there are multiple layers in bone. Okay, let's not get into deep of the bone. Okay, not into the depth of the bones and what are the layers into it. Let's understand the very simplified way. Two layers are there in bones. Okay, one can be said as outer layer, that is called as cortical bone or compact bone. Okay, and next is inner layer of the bone or inner bone. Okay, which is actually composed of two other parts called as a spongy bone or bone marrow. We'll get into that. Before that, let's understand what is the outer layer. Okay, so many times people think that when it comes to bones, we all think that calcium, 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 like that. No. See, bones are nothing but protein. Okay, you may be surprised that to hear that what is protein here. Okay, so the outer layer of the bone, what I told, cortical bone, right? Okay, so that would be in a kind of hollow matrix structure. When I say hollow matrix structure, let's take a honeycomb. Okay, there would be kind of blocks, 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 right? In the blocks there would be honey. Okay, same way cortical bone means the outer bone. Okay, that would be in the form of hollow blocks. Okay, that hollow blocks are made with a fibrous tissue called as collagen, which is nothing but protein. Okay, and in that blocks there are special kind of cells called as osteocytes. Okay, I'll tell you. In that osteocytes, there are again two cells. One is osteoblast and osteoclast. Okay, this osteoblast build the bone by taking, calcium phosphate particles into it. Okay, it means it's a protein one. In the protein blocks, like calcium and phosphorus would be filled up. Okay, that is all in cortical part of the bone, which is compact bone or outer bone, what I'm saying. Okay, and the second one is inner bone. We told, right, like spongy bone or bone marrow. Okay, again in the bone marrow, there are two kind of marrows. One is yellow marrow and red marrow. So, like red marrow is nothing but the place where actually red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets are born, okay, or being produced. And yellow marrow, where the fat is actually stored. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me quickly share the screen about this is skeletal system. You are able to see, right? Like these are all the bones what we spoke just now. So if you see, this is called as cranium, mandible, okay, the bones of hands. I told that femur bone, right? Femur bone is this, tibia bone, this one is this. These are the two lengthy bones in our human body. This is a rib cage, which is actually protecting our heart, lungs, okay, and this is spinal cord, what you are seeing, there 33 vertebrae would be there, okay. And now we are discussing about bone structure, right? So let me scroll this. Okay. So this is the cortical part of the bone. Okay. The outer layer of the bone is this. Okay. And this is The yellow bone, what I'm saying that bone marrow, yellowish bone marrow, where actually the fat is actually stored. Okay, spongy bone, the soft bone it is, and like red blood cells, okay, white blood cells are produced in this red bone marrow. Got it? And at the end of the bone, you would be able to see cartilage. I will explain you what is cartilage. Here also you can see cartilage, right? So how bones are made actually? Just before when I'm telling, I was telling, right? There are two kind of cells. One is osteoblast and osteoclast, combinedly called as osteocytes. Okay. Our body skeletal system would be continuously going in a stage called as bone remodeling. When I say bone remodeling, our bones would be continuously getting remodeled. It means that there is something called as a resorption process. When I say resorption, which is nothing but the existing bone would be broken down by osteoclast, and the same place, the new bone would be prepared by or produced by osteoblasts. Okay. As I said that firstly, how they prepare? They prepare the fibrous structure, that is a fibrous matrix with collagen, and then this calcium phosphate crystals would be induced into it, which means that firstly that matrix would be held. After that, the calcium and phosphorus particles, which are minerals, which would be settled into it, and the bone would be formed. Okay. So why I'm explaining this? Okay, why I'm explaining this? Because when it comes to bones, I said that always we think that calcium only. No, protein is also very important, and then calcium is also very, very important. Let's understand now what is the calcium we prescribe to our clients. Okay, so we prescribe Neutralite Calmag D, right? Okay, the name itself says that it is not limited to calcium, it is also having magnesium as well as vitamin D. Let's understand more about calcium. What is the role of calcium in our body? Okay, we just think that okay, calcium is very important for healthy bones, healthy teeth. Okay, not only that, it plays very, very critical role in metabolic functions like cardiovascular functions, muscle function, nervous system properly to function. Also, calcium is needed for for hormonal balance. Calcium is very much needed. Okay, so if the calcium deficiency is there, okay, like you will be having a poor teeth, okay, and there are chances of cataract, okay, the performance of the brain would be little low. Osteoporosis or osteoarthritis, these are the causes when you have less calcium in your body. Okay. What is the RDA of calcium? What is RDA? RDA is nothing but regular dietary elements. How much calcium is supposed to be taken by us? Okay. Like different studies say differently. Like some say that 600, 800, 1,200 milligrams per day. Okay. I would say that at least 800 milligrams to 1,000 milligrams per day is necessary. If you are a pregnant or lactating woman, at least 1,200 milligrams per day is needed, right? And so whatever the values we see in the reports, when we are scrolling through the reports, we see actually calcium, right? That is actually the serum calcium. When I say serum calcium, it is not the actual calcium entirely in your body. Okay. That is just 1% of the calcium in the blood, where the 99% of the calcium would be there in your body, obviously in bones, right? Okay. So if the serum calcium itself less, let's say that 7 milligrams per deciliter is there, okay, or 6 or 8 milligrams per deciliter is there, which is less, right? Which means that obviously the calcium is less in blood, means obviously the calcium also would be less in bones. Okay, so that we need to understand. when we are looking at the reports. Okay, what happens? Like calcium is less, and what kind of supplementation we are supposed to take. There are different kind of supplementation out in the market, even doctors prescribe. Okay, so like a calcium carbonate, a calcium citrate, elemental calcium, different sources are there. Okay, a right source of calcium is very much needed. If we are not using the right source of calcium, we are taking just like some of the other X brand or which we don't know. Okay, what would happen is there are many side effects. So, like IBS would come, headaches would come, okay, loss of appetite, vomiting, stomach upset, constipation. That's the reason we carefully choose a Neutralite Calmag D. Okay, so in Neutralite Calmag D, what kind of calcium we actually give is it is the extraction of red algae as well as seaweed, which is actually found in cold waters of Iceland. Okay. The bioavailability of calcium in this would be very, very high. Okay. So that the absorption is also very, very high. It is not that how much calcium you take in a day. It is very important that how much calcium your body also absorbs, right? If your body is not absorbing, you're just taking that bottles and bottles of calcium. What is the use, right? So right supplementation is very much needed there. And here I wanted to talk about the myths of calcium also. People think that, no, why I wanted to take a calcium supplementation? Because I drink milk every day. As I told that, like at least 800 to 1000 milligrams per day calcium is needed. In milk, in one glass of milk, how much calcium you're getting? If the milk is actually drawn from like organically grown cow, okay, grass fed cow, pasteurized cow, okay, no injections are given. In that case, in one glass of milk, okay, the fat is not removed. In that case, one glass of milk, you would get somewhere like 200 to 300 milligrams of calcium. Okay, but if you want to get the total amount of the calcium per day, that is 1000 milligrams to 1200 milligrams per day, you wanted to drink at least 1.5 liters to 2 liters of milk. First condition is we're not getting such kind of unadulterated milk today. Okay. And second condition is we are not drinking milk in such huge quantities, right? We're just drinking one glass of milk and we are assuming that we'll get all the calcium for the day. And second important myth I wanted to cover here is um, like calcium, if I take, okay, would that create any kidney stones? No, actually. Okay. Kidney stones are what? Okay, when you're not drinking enough water, okay, and then the kidney stones would form because of less vitamin D. Okay, if you take proper vitamin D, even that kidney stones also get disintegrated. The third myth is like, if I take calcium, would that affect anything to my cardiac system? Nothing as such. Okay. In fact, calcium helps more in cardiac activity. Okay. But wanted to understand that, like, what kind of calcium we are supplementing, what dose of calcium we are supplementing, the cofactor supplementation, like vitamin D, are we supplementing it along with it? These all things plays a critical role. Okay. In the Neutralite Calmag D, what we prescribe, not only calcium as well as vitamin D would be there, okay, which helps in proper absorption of calcium, and magnesium, which also helps not only in absorption, in the effective absorption of calcium. Manganese actually helps in protecting the cartilage and helps in new bone formation. Okay. And when it comes to zinc, okay, zinc helps in like restoring the immune system. So this all way, Calmac D helps a lot in the clients when they are in actual diet. Okay. Now let's understand the vitamin D. So vitamin D, if you all remember properly during the time of COVID, okay, it is actually prescribed as first line treatment or first line therapy. Not only the general physicians, including World Health Organization, it is being prescribed for everyone, right? Vitamin D and vitamin C. Okay, because it is a kind of power switch. Okay, in our home, there would be a power switch, right, which can control every electricity equipment in the home. The same way, everything is controlled by vitamin D. Okay, such important it is. Just before when I'm talking about about bones, I told about specialized cells called as osteocytes. In that, osteoblasts and osteoclasts would be there, right? So vitamin D helps in osteoblasts in better mediation of mineralization, like the calcium as well as phosphorus crystals into that, collagen blocks. Okay, that's how it helps proper absorption of calcium. Okay, and also it helps like intestines to properly absorb the calcium, right? And during the time of stress, okay, if you are actually going through a lot of stress, vitamin D would be less in your body. You wanted to intake more vitamin D. For hair fall, vitamin D plays a critical role. Muscle function, vitamin D plays a critical role. Okay, and you know, if you ask me what is the RDA for vitamin D, regular dietary allowance for vitamin D, like some say that 400 to 600 international units for neonatal to adults, okay, and 1000 to 2000 international units, or 500 to 1000 international units. Different numbers would be told. At least I would say that 800 to 1200 international units is at least a safer side to take. And please understand that vitamin D is needed by our body lot and lot. Okay, people when they are talking about toxicity, if you are continuously sitting and taking back to back vitamin D tablets, which are kind of 60,000 international units every day, then there is possibility of toxicity. But little overdose would never actually create a toxicity. Always check with your coach. Okay. When you are looking at the reports, you may be looking at vitamin D, right? Okay. So if the vitamin D is less, okay, what we actually prescribe earlier, we are prescribing vitamin D plus. Currently, it is not there, but Neutralite Daily Plus as well as Calmag D Plus when we are prescribing twice a day, morning and evening. Okay, from there also vitamin D is actually we get. Okay, so that is more sufficient. But if it is very very less, like 10 nanograms per deciliter, okay, or like 20 nanograms per deciliter, 30 nanograms per deciliter is there in the reports. Please check with your coach how to handle it. Okay. Now, there would be always a myth, right? Okay. What is that myth? Like when we are looking at the reports, even clients say that, sir, actually, you know what happens? I'm a software engineer. I'm not actually going out, not facing sun. That's the reason my vitamin D values are less. From tomorrow onwards, I started decided to go into sun. Will my vitamin D will be increased? This is the question. So this is a big myth. Okay, it won't happen that like that. Okay, so when you go into sun, you won't get the vitamin D just like that. Okay, for that we wanted to understand the pathway of vitamin D or how the vitamin D synthesizes in our body. Okay, so in our skin there would be three layers. One is epidermis, dermis, hypodermis. There are actually seven plus layers, but we need not to discuss everything in detail. Like hypodermis is nothing but subcutaneous fat. Okay. At the dermal layer, there would be something called as 7-dehydrocholesterol. 7-DHC is called as. When we go into sun, okay, when the sun rays fall on our skin, okay, the 7-DHC will be reacted to the ultraviolet type B rays. There would be two rays in the sun rays. One is type A rays and B rays. For the ultraviolet B rays, okay, when it falls in 218 to 315 direction, like on the skin, that time the 7-DHC will get reacted and it gets converted into like hydroxylated D3. Okay, this hydroxylated D3 gets into the bloodstream. Now, liver's function will start. Now, liver wanted to convert this hydroxylated D3 to calcidiol, and this calcidiol will get again into the bloodstream, and it has to be converted to calcitrol by kidneys. Okay, so this much work has to happen if you wanted to get proper D vitamin. Okay. If you just go into sunlight early in the morning, maybe 7, 8 o'clock, okay, assuming that I will get vitamin D, nothing you will get it. If you wanted to get proper D vitamin through sun, you maybe wanted to get into sun around, 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock like that. Okay, which is actually the midday. Okay, that time only ultraviolet B type rays would be properly falling on us. Okay, that too you wanted to go and expose your skin. If you are going with this kind of blazer, or if you are going with applying this sunscreen, keeping hat, okay, full shirts, you won't get anything. But understand, when you're going into sun at the midday, forget about the vitamin D. Easily you will catch with skin cancers. Okay. So that's the reason. And in simplistic way, if I wanted to explain, like vitamin D deficiency is there with everyone. Okay. When we are scrolling through reports. And again, as you are in level one, I am telling you will be looking into reports tomorrow, right? If you look at the reports, 10 reports, 100% closing eyes, I can tell that in 10 reports, vitamin D will be less. Okay. So don't assume that vitamin D will come just by walking in the sun. Nothing will happen. Okay. India is already, like, where is India? Okay. When you look at the globe, India is actually at the equator, right? Sun will be there always, 24 cross, like every day we will have sun. Okay, we have always this scorching sun. Okay, but still why vitamin D is less? Because our body is not absorbing it, because everyone has a pot bellies, like abdominal fat is more, visceral fat is more, your liver is not converting it, right? And your kidneys are not converting it. So here in the diet, what we do is we are actually cutting down that visceral fat, abdominal fat. That's where even if you supplement vitamin D, the conversion happens properly, right? Understood? And if you ask, are there any types of vitamin D? Okay. Yeah, there are mainly two types of vitamin D. One is called as provitamin D2, that is called as ergosterol or ergocalciferol. Okay, and D3 is dehydrocholesterol. Okay, dehydrocholesterol, which is actually coming from animal sources. D2 comes from plant sources like mushroom, like that. When it comes to D3, it comes from animal sources. Okay. When I say animal sources like fatty fish, red meat, cod liver, egg yolks, and dairy products like butter, cholesterol milk. When I say cholesterol milk, in English, I think it is called as milk pudding, or in Telugu, Junnu Palu అని అంటారు. So from that, we get vitamin D more, which is more active, bioactive, like which is easy absorption happens in our body is D3. Okay. And so that is one thing. And someone Like in consultations, people ask, like, when I take milk, would I get vitamin D? You may get vitamin D, that is very, very less until and unless something, it's a fortified milk. Okay. So vitamin D plays a very, very critical role and it's very important. And one important thing is vitamin D is more of kind of hormone. It is not vitamin. Okay. Because there is something called as vitamin D receptor in our body, in our each cell. The way how insulin has a receptor, vitamin D also has a receptor. Such an important vitamin. So when you're scrolling through the reports, you wanted to explain them that vitamin D is very less. Calcium also would be by default less. Okay. So please take vitamin D and Calmag D. I mean to say that when you are taking Calmag D, you wanted to underline and tell that you wanted to take Calmag D because vitamin D is already less. So calcium also would be less. So you wanted to take regularly Calmag D along with Neutralite Daily Plus so that at least some vitamin D comes into the blood and some calcium absorption would happen. So far, we have discussed about bones. To keep bones healthy, okay, what we are supposed to do, like we wanted to properly supplement protein every day, adequate amount of protein, which has all essential amino acids. And the second one is we wanted to take proper D vitamin, and also we wanted to supplement proper trace minerals like calcium, magnesium, manganese, zinc. Okay, these things. Now we are going to discuss about how to take care of joints. Okay, so before that, what is meant by a joint? Okay, let me share you a pic for your better understanding. I hope that you are able to see it, right? So these are joints. What is meant by a joint? Joint is nothing but like the intersection point between two bones. It means there are two bones. These two bones are connecting to each other, right? So that is called as a joint. Okay. And there are so many joints in our body. Okay. So all these joints or between all these joints, there is something called as cartilage. Okay. So regarding that, we will talk now. Okay. If a healthy joint should be there always, okay, that cushion has to be taken care. What is that cushion? That cartilage. Okay. Any joint for that matter. Okay. The spinal cord, what we have discussed, or any joints. Now, in the hand also, in between the fingers, there are many joints, right? At every joint, there would be cartilage. Okay. There are different kind of cartilage. I will explain you. But firstly, understand what is that cushion. Okay. Let's say that now, so far you are listening to me. Okay. It's a lengthy session. You are actually sitting on a chair. Okay. On your chair, there is a foam, right? Which is acting as a cushion, or some spring is there, which is acting as a cushion to you. Even when you are riding bike, there would be shock absorbers, okay, which will actually take the pressure when you are going on a hump, when you are going in a pit, okay. So it will make your ride smooth, right? Okay. Example, if you look at heavy vehicles, okay, like a truck like that or bus like that, okay, how the wheels would be moving. The wheels are connected to a shaft. Directly the wheels are not moving on the shaft because if the wheels directly moves on the shaft will go wear and tear. Okay. So there is something called as bearing in between, right? And that bearing we can assume as cartilage. Okay. Where the cartilage would be there? In every joint the cartilage would be there. If you ask, in this joint cartilage is there? Yes, it is there. Okay. In knees, the cartilage is there? Yes. Mainly we hear from the clients the cartilage degeneration or meniscus degeneration at the knee level. Okay, that we will talk. So, bearing is kind of cartilage. Okay, but bearing on the shaft directly it will not rotate. Okay, Even for the bearing, there would be a lot of grease which is applied, right? Okay, that grease is kind of something in our body, synovial fluid. Okay, let me share you one more pic for better understanding. Okay. So as I was telling that major complaint what we hear, okay, here and there from our friends, from our relatives, from our known persons, neighbors, even the people who come for the consultation to us, like they have a lot of knee pain. They are not able to walk. Okay. So doctors have said that, okay, that is kind of arthritis. Okay. There are two different kind of arthritis. I'll tell about it. So what actually the issue is? I was telling that cartilage, right? So this is the cartilage. This is the upper bone of a leg, which is called as femur bone, and the lower bone of leg, tibia. Okay. So between these two bones, there is something called as cartilage. Okay. And there is some fluid called as jelly kind of fluid. It would be kind of egg yolk. So this fluid is called as synovium fluid. Okay. Which will act as a grease. If we assume this one as bearing, this one is a grease. This one is bearing. This one is bearing. This is all grease. Okay. So as I was telling that at every joint there is cartilage, right? There are different kind of cartilages in our body, like hyaline cartilage, okay, like fibrous cartilage, or elastic cartilage. Different kind of cartilages are there. Forget about the differentiation. You can assume that at every joint there is cartilage. Some people will come with cervical pain or back pain, like at the lumbar level, L1 or L2 disc has some pain because of degeneration of cartilage there. Okay. Now, okay, I said that people may reach out to us asking about pain in the joints. Okay, then we need to understand that what kind of problem it is. Okay, it can be a cartilage degeneration, but for what reason the cartilage degeneration has happened? Okay, so that problem is called as arthritis. Two problems are there in arthritis, two variants are there, I can say. One is osteoarthritis, and another one is rheumatoid arthritis. Many people say that osteoarthritis means it will come with age. No, actually, that is not true. It is not because of the age. Osteoarthritis come. The major reason is poor nutrition and overweight. If you are overweight, all the weight would be falling on your legs. Slowly, the meniscus degeneration would happen. Slowly, the cartilage degeneration would happen. Okay. And some people say that because of salt intake, also cartilage gets damaged. Forget about the salt. Firstly, reduce the weight. Okay. That is very important. Okay. So first one is osteoarthritis. Osteoarthritis means normally because of overweight, because of diabetes, or because of over usage of joints, okay, without proper nutrition. Okay, the cartilage or meniscus degenerated. That is called as osteoarthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis means there is another reason, it's actually autoimmune condition. It means your immune system has attacked the cartilage, so that's where the degeneration has happened. Okay, so to understand whether it is osteoarthritis or rheumatoid arthritis, anyway, doctors will ask for a scan. We can look into the scan, and if wanted to look at what kind of arthritis it is, like if we have a suspect about rheumatoid arthritis, in the reports we'll ask for RA factor test. RA factor is nothing but a rheumatoid arthritis factor test. Okay. Another test is called as ANA, anti-nuclear antibody, anti-CCP, ESR, CRP. Like this test, we actually prescribe. Okay. And do we provide any supplementation or do we prescribe any supplementation? Yes, we actually advise one supplementation called as glucosamine HCl. What is glucosamine? Just before, when I'm explaining about joints, I told about cartilage as well as I told about synovial fluid. Okay. Glucosamine HCl, what it does is it would be able to help to improve the lubricant. What is that lubricant? That synovial fluid as a lubricant. It will try to improve that lubricant. When the lubricant is more, it will actually help stopping the cartilage degeneration. Okay. There is no method at this time to improve cartilage. Okay, there is no proven method out in the market to improve cartilage. They take the cartilage from one end to they put the cartilage at the another end where actually uh, more important or PRP treatments. These kind of are there, but you know from food what we can do is we can improve that synovial fluid with the help of glucosamine HCl, but this has to be properly advised by looking at the reports. Okay, there shouldn't be any false promise to the client. So glucosamine HCl, ideal way how we prescribe to take is two tablets along with the food morning as well as evening. Okay, in glucosamine HCl, there is something called as boswellia. Okay, this particular ingredient also helps in increasing synovial fluid. Okay, there is something other called as a bromelain. What is bromelain means? It's a kind of antioxidants, and also acerula cherry is there, which is kind of antioxidant, which actually helps in protecting the knee joints from immune system if at all autoimmune condition is there. Okay, so far we have discussed about you know bones. Okay, and what supplementation needed for maintaining healthy bones. Okay, we have discussed about the joints. We also have discussed about what nutrition can help in healthy joints. Okay, I hope that you understood pretty well. Okay. If you have any questions, as I said in the beginning, please reach out to your coach and clarify those questions. Okay. With this, thank you.